Good day all you awesome legends. Here we go. Here is a Mercenary Tactician pure totem endgame version build that I've attempted to make. Hope you enjoy and let's get straight into it. First things first, for endgame, yes, this is actually very viable in T15 maps, surprisingly or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in this T15 map, which is not even a good one because they got a bunch of extra CC, which is not good. It's also an irradiated map, so the monster levels will be +1, just to give a brief showcase about how the build does work. So we've made an earlier version of the build, a bit more early game orientated. The build is pretty much the same. There's just a lot of changes to my passive skill tree. I do think it is definitely just a budget build. This is nothing too fancy. Very fun nonetheless. I've had a blast playing this build. So the showcase of the build is still the same. You put your ripwires, your artilleries, and they go crazy utilizing with armor piercing rounds, which I'll get onto the reasoning as to why I'm sticking with that as of right now. I know we can min-max this even more. I have spent practically nothing on this build, so anyone can make this build. I'm pretty sure the majority of you legends will have 10 times better gear than me and do way better with this exact build than me. So, I mean, there is so much room still for improvement with this build, which is the best thing ever. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. As you can see, the gameplay is still the same. The damage is very good. I hope that is something that is interesting you. We're going to get ourselves towards the boss. Let's show how we do on the boss. The boss damage is okay, but of course, still more room for improvement. Let's get to the boss. Alright, so we're at the boss. This is definitely not going to delete a T15 boss. I'm very prone to die, and I'm pretty sure I will maybe die while we do this, but I'll keep this live just to showcase the damage in some sense raw. The damage is very good. Again, the totems die, which is when we lose a lot of our damage, unfortunately. So as you can see, the totems keep dying, which if they wouldn't die and stay alive, I would have been able to do a little bit better DPS instead of resummoning them. But even with that, we're still able to absolutely annihilate them, and I feel like the damage is fairly decent. And that again on a not ideal map, which generally we would like to avoid and have better maps. So yeah, there you go guys. That is an example of a T15 map. I'm very happy with how it's going. This is with your dead average gear, which I'm a dead average player. I'm nothing special. So yeah, we're going to go over our passive tree and skills right now. Alright, over to our skills. We are using armor piercing rounds still. I do find that armor piercing rounds has been working the most seamless with the Tactician cannons ready ascendancy part. Perhaps another skill could be better, but for me personally, I found armor piercing rounds to be the best. So as for my sockets, I'm currently using ignition. We're using mobility to have a little bit more movement speed while shooting, and chain in order to chain our attacks to more enemies. Armor piercing round is not our source of damage. It is more of our skill to make our ballistas shoot, and of course gain some subsequent buffs from that. We are still using the ripwire ballista. As for our support gems, we're using lockdown to pin them, brutality for more physical damage, and heft for more physical damage. Our big boy itself is the artillery ballista. When you do get gem cutters, obviously your first 4 gem cutters that you do get, smash them into your artillery ballista to reduce the base attack time, just allows them to attack a lot faster. As for our support gems, we'll be using fire infusion, primal armament. Please get this gem or this support gem and put it in immediately. It's a big damage increase. Martial tempo for more attack speed, and if you do find your first greater jeweler's orb, which I finally just found, I put in emulate as well, which is additional damage as fire. As for our heralds, I am utilizing the Herald of Ash. Herald of Ash is very nice to use. You'd get a bit better screen clear. As for my support gems, I am using magnified effect, deadly herald, and then I'm using clarity just for a bit more mana regen. If you have additional spirit, you can utilize these. With the amount of plus levels into projectile skills, I am starting to have mana issues significantly. So yeah, utilize that if you have additional spirit. For my last active spell, or buff we want to say, again, if you have additional spirit, you can put Wind Dancer on. As for our support gems, it's pretty much the same. If you have spare spirit, because I do have spirit on my chest piece, I am using precision. for more accuracy. I'm using Vitality for a bit more life regen, and Cannibalism, which is more life recovered when I do kill an enemy. So pretty much that is the summary of our abilities. Very straightforward. Everything just has lesser Jeweler's Orbs. I'm pretty sure by now we all should have at least a bunch of lesser Jeweler's Orbs to have 3 sockets. I do have this updated build guide on Maxroll, which I will link in my description and in the comment section, the pinned comment, just if you want to view it nice and easily. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to our gear, and I will talk about stat priorities. Just a brief summary over that. So as I said earlier in the video, the gear that I currently have is definitely not min-maxed. This is dead average gear. I don't have unlimited time, working and family man and husband and father. But yeah, I was actually quite lucky with a crossbow. So the reason why the crossbow you have to focus on for our build, it will be plus levels to projectile skills, and I think increased elemental damage with attacks. Those 2 stats is severely important in buffing our DPS on our totems. As for our stats, you know the drill. Get all your resistances as you require. Get those resistances up to 75%, otherwise we will die. Priorities on our gloves, I will still say it's pretty much, I think fire damage to attacks would be our stat priority. The same for our rings is going to be the same. Cast speed would be great. And then any damage to attacks, fire damage being our most important stat to get. Onto your boots, I think getting movement speed. Everyone wants movement speed, so get that as high as you can with the resistances that you may need. So, and then finally onto your amulet, as you can get plus 2 levels to projectile skills onto your amulet, which will give you additional damage. Although you're going to start having mana problems with all these plus levels, which I currently do have. But otherwise, there you go. The gear, it costs nothing pretty much to get this build together. You definitely being way better than me will have this build way better. So that's our gear. I think let's go over to our passive skill tree, which I will summarize. Again, not wasting too much of your time, legends. We'll go over to our Ascendancy. Of course, we are using the Tactician Ascendancy. I still have only done the 2 Ascendancy runs, so I've only got 4 Ascendancy points. I haven't even done the others just yet. The most important one will be cannons ready. Totems have 30% more skill speed, and then remember, I have advised, they will only attack when you use attack projectiles, so very important. If you're using a skill which is not armor piercing rounds, as I'm using, you must use a skill which is shooting attack projectiles for your totems to shoot. As for my next 2 Ascendancy points, I am using projectile damage pins enemies. It's very good to have for survivability. And if you do have more Ascendancy points, you can go all the way up to right where we want them, which then pinned enemies cannot perform actions. I'm pretty sure that having these next 2 Ascendancy points will really give us a significant amount of survivability. Also to protect your totems to not die. So over to our passive skill tree, we have gone straight through projectile damage as the same, through Remorseless to Ricochet, and then we are taking all stats to our Jewel socket. I have taken Advanced Munitions just to have a bit more chance to ignite. From here, we have gone to our first cluster of totem damage, which you want to prioritize, obviously getting Watchtowers to have an additional totem. You have a chance to summon 2 totems when you summon one. A 20% chance is good. That is also very nice to have. From here, the significant change would be we're going over to all fire damage nodes. So everything to boost our fire damage. We do have Mercenary as well, which is at least we get our base 30% increased chance to ignite. Alright, to our next cluster of totem damage is just everything totem damage that we can. Ancestral Artifice, I can't read. Another +1 totem, so we can at least have 3 at all times. I am not using the support gem Abundance, which lowers the duration that they are out, but you can get an additional one. If you want to have another one, go for it. Then you can have 4 out at one time. Take every single damage node that you can, which is very good to have. We shall continue our way. Now what I'm doing is I'm still using the armor break cluster here, because we are using armor break rounds. I do know that fully broken armor takes 20% more physical damage, which we are not doing physical damage. Our main damage is fire damage. But the nice thing with this is we have these 2 nodes here, which we are dealing 20% increased damage to enemies with fully broken armor. So we do benefit from these two nodes. We continue towards our next jewel socket, and then we go left all the way up to these nodes here where we will get alacrity. Totem placement speed is just a bunch more quality of life. The next big changes, I've just gone one up and towards all this elemental damage as well. Sigil of fire, more damage against fire, ignited enemies, and increasing our fire damage. From here we will go right towards the next totem cluster. So we will get a bit more placement speed as well, totem damage, and then the big one is, again, totems will have increased attack speed and cast speed. We will be going right towards these next fire nodes, which is burn away, more fire damage, and we are penetrating fire resistance, and it increases the magnitude of the ignites that we inflict. Now, once you do, and you got good levels, then you can carry on from this jewel socket from over here. We'll be going up 3 towards the next totem cluster, which we get more totem damage, and then we get carved earth, which is a flat 20% totem damage, and then we get 6% attack speed and cast speed when we've summoned a totem recently, which benefits our totems as well. And that pretty much is where I currently am at with my totems. This will be linked in the description and in my pinned comments, as I have previously said. I hope that it was in some form informative to you. My goal is still to try and do Pinnacle Boss level 3. I don't think I'll be able to do the level 4 Pinnacle Boss, but I'm going to try and see if this can do level 3 Pinnacle Boss, and I will keep you guys updated. I'm still live streaming every now and then. I'm having a great time doing it, so if you enjoy it and you wanted to, come and say hello while I'm live streaming, it'll be great to meet you, chat with you guys. I love chatting, and excited to meet you guys. Random live streamer from South Africa, the Skinner. It was a pleasure. I hope you guys have a great day, and Skinner out.